Today, I'm going to discuss some of the key ideas about psycholinguistics. Before I start, let me share some interesting facts with you. One is that, on average, if you look at an every young person of your age, every 20-year-old, that person has 27,000 to 52,000 words. He knows or she knows 27,000 to 52,000 words, while average person in our age or 60 years old, he has 35,000 to 56,000 words. And brain selects the correct word. Usually when we are speaking, like I am right now teaching you and you're listening to me, if you look at our brain, how it is processing, our brain quickly reacts and responds and brings the correct word from a mental dictionary. And 98% of the time, that is correct, like during comprehension. So similarly, if you look at speech processing, that is also very interesting. In speech processing, if you look at word counts, you will see that there will be. Yes, sorry, there was an interruption. So some people are joining late, so I'll have to add them as well. And then, if you look at, I was talking about human brain, the complexity of human brain, some facts before moving to some of the methods and then to language development. That if you look at human brain on young person can has 27,000 to 52,000, and every 60-year-old has 35,000 to 56,000 words. And when we are speaking, our brain quickly comes up with the right response, and that response is usually through words. And 98% of the time during comprehension, brain selects the correct word, and that is amazing. So it's a hint that there is something going on in our brain inside the mind. So the connection between mind and language, that is well established, or it is deeper. And if you look at, yeah, that topic is also very important. Today, I have written an article on, I'm writing that article. So hopefully it will be published tomorrow on my Medium account. And in that article, I have touched upon this idea which you are just referring to, and that is usually we see that English language, the research that we study or we teach in psycholinguistics, that is primarily English based, or it is English. So my new blog post, that is syntax of the multilingual mind, that I will try to complete tonight. Rough draft is ready. I'm editing it. So in that you can read it tomorrow. Here I have discussed the same idea, that when we talk about language or language processing, we usually we take English language as the key or as the main focus of that. But if you look at Pakistan, I've given this example, that if you look at Pakistan, you will see that in Pakistan, when a child or when a person is speaking, his brain is negotiating with a lot of languages. So code switching or changing languages, that should be reviewed and it should be re-evaluated. And I have discussed the concept of not monolingual mind but bilingual mind. So that article will be published tomorrow morning, hopefully, and if I finish it. But I have given a glimpse of it, short version of it. It's outlined on my LinkedIn account, Multilingual Mind, that I published today. So you can read that. This exact idea, it is debatable and it needs to be studied. So right now, when we are talking about this one, exactly answer to your question is one language, not more languages, because America is the source of this research, and their English is the language of academia, and most of the research and writing that is happening in English. Second thing is, professors, they're often English speakers, and participants, those people who take part in different studies or their children take part in these studies, they are also English speakers. After that, England. Then we have European countries. So out of 196 countries, there are four countries, and in those four countries this research is happening. Most of the researchers are English, and most of these and above all, I think that I have mentioned WEIRD. WEIRD, these are white, educated, rich, democratic societies and elite sections of those societies who are producing this research. So that's why when we talk about psycholinguistics, when we talk about numbers, stats, figures, and findings, yes, they are limited to one language, that is English alone. And this is called Anglocentric view of linguistics, or you can also broaden it to Eurocentric because some of the European languages are included, but primarily it is Anglocentric. And these figures, we should not take them as definitive. More research needs to be done. That's why before starting this lecture, I was encouraging you that you should go and study, try to join Max Planck Institution, MIT, Cambridge, University of Reading, the University of Toronto, McGill University, Australian universities. Now China is also doing research in it. Netherlands, there is also their research culture is good. So why? Because when you will go there, you will go there with your own wealth of languages. You will go with Pashto, you'll go with Saraiki, you will go with Punjabi, you will go, and then these things can be retested. Second thing is these theories, these figures, these experiments can be tested in Pakistan. There is a journal by Cambridge University. It is SLA. Uh, in that journal, you can take past studies that were conducted in 1960s and 70s, and you can conduct them by taking Pakistani population or children who are speaking different languages, and we can verify, or we can reinforce, or we can reach new conclusions. And in this way, our reliance on one language, that will be, reevaluated, and we will be able to verify these figures correctly. But right now, I am talking about processing of that speed or working of human brain, some of the key facts, because these are relevant with how our brain processes language or what goes on inside the brain. Because for 2000 years, human beings, they have studied language as a behavior, as an imitation, as something that was outside of the mind, because it took us 2000 years as civilization, as human researchers or knowledge seekers, to reach the brain, to locate where is language located. And now, when we have located it, still that is debatable, because we have located language in areas, Broca's area, or Wernicke's area, or Broadman areas, 44 for syntax, 45 for semantic syntax interface area, 22, or these limited areas. But connectionist model believes that it is not confined to or limited to those areas, but things are. And the problem with the connectionist model is, if you say these are connections and language is everywhere, then everywhere has also a limitation. It has a problem. If language is everywhere, it means it's nowhere. So that is why your question is valid. Thank you very much for that. Please, class, show reaction, clapping for the question. And CR, please note down the name of the student for asking questions, because those people who ask questions, those people who answer questions, I like those students and I appreciate those students. But those students who ask questions are the real strength of our class, and we respect them. So that's great. Thank you. And those people who cannot ask questions for any reason, leave your questions in the box. And one more thing, in my on my blog, with when I saw in your class there are some students who are curious, so what I did, I have taken their questions, I have taken questions from other classes as well, and I have also created a blog post that is psycholinguistics Q&A. So you can read that post and you will be able to find a lot of questions there and answers. And if you find that your question is not there, do point out and WhatsApp your question. I will add that so that we can prepare a pool of questions. And I also ask you to prepare a team, and we will make short quiz competition. We'll have a short quiz competition so that we can record these things. And these boys who are asking questions, these girls who are asking questions, they should become part of our collective memory. And then I will upload those videos on YouTube. One of your class fellows sent a video to me. This is a short announcement. I saw that video voice is not clear. So in your next class, I will discuss with that student. And if it's fine, or we can re-record it so that when we upload it on different social media platforms, so it should be clear so that people can listen to it clearly. So let's come back to the facts. and then we'll move on to some of the methods, and then we'll move on to the uh, language and the mind. So human brain, if you look at processing, word duration, usually most words last less than 1 second. And brain processing, that is, the brain evaluates thousands of possible words uh, or word candidates in milliseconds. And most people can comprehend 8 syllables per second. Similarly, our speaking rate is usually 165 words. As you can see, the way I'm speaking, usually it is 165 words per minute. We see that there are 165 words per minute, or average is 110 and 150. Uh, Similarly, public speaking, people can speak up to 160. Fast speakers can go up to 200 as well. And thought to speech lag, that is 600 milliseconds from idea formation to articulation. Similarly, if you look at listening, it is 150 to 250 words comfortably an adult listener can understand. Upper limit is 300 to 400, and we can read. Reading speed is usually 200 to 300 words, and skimming, then it goes up. So reading comprehension, like 60 to 80% at normal reading speed, we can comprehend, we can remember. So in this way, if you look at lexical access efficiency, you will see that despite thousands of options, brain selects word with 98% accuracy. Short-term memory load is Miller's law. Miller's law says that 5 to 9 items for active working memory, they are crucial for sentence comprehension. And neural networks, they are involved. Temporal lobes for auditory processing, frontal lobes for speech production and planning, and parietal lobes for integration of sensory and linguistic information. If you want to know more about them, you can go to my blogs post, Broadman areas on Medium, and you can find more details about them. So in this way, you can see that when we are studying it, we see that language or linguistics or human brain, these interesting facts, they show that human brain is efficient, it is involved when we are listening, we are comprehending, and we are trying to. Similarly, research on child language, that also like it supports this view that language and the mind, they are closely linked, and they have close relationship when it comes to studying. Second was feral children's case, those children who were mistreated, or they had some sort of challenge in life, or they were differently abled, or they were kept in isolation. Like Ginny's case, she was kept bound to a chair for a long time by her own father. She was discovered, and later on we found that that was also, I mean, it shows that she developed words, but she could not develop sentences. So she had passed certain age limit, like young age, and in which children are more likely to learn language if they learn it earlier, and she had passed that age, so she could not learn. Similarly, uh, there was another girl, her case was also similar. And I've also, in France, in other parts of the world, such cases were observed, in which they support that language and mind, they have closer connection. And in the meanwhile, you can also see that when we study this language uh, among children, we see young children have almost 100 billion neurons, but they have little connectivity. And early years, they create vast networks uh, that, and through pruning, use it or lose it, unused synapses, they fade, and sharpening their efficiency. Similarly, when we look at hemispheric specialization, there is also left hemisphere that is dominant for syntax, right hemisphere that is for prosody, and FOXP2 gene, discovery of that gene also shows that language, although it's not the language, initially it was called the language gene, although it is not, but it is linked to speech and grammar deficits. And I mean, this was one of the biggest breakthroughs. So there are still ideas that need more exploration, but scientists, they have found evidence, they have in different in these ideas. Similarly, critical period hypothesis, that was Lannenberg's idea in 1967, in which he said that language acquisition is biologically constrained, and those children who learn language through sign language that also supports this view. Nicaragua sign language children, that was in 1980s. Government gave them. The government thought that these children should learn language, and these children, they developed their own grammar, and it was like spontaneously to emerge among children, showing that there is innate drive for language. So these things, they support Noam Chomsky's view of LAD or universal grammar. And Genies and these cases I have given, I've published on my blog, so you can read them, so that we should not spend more time on it. And like the evidence is there. Next thing is now modern ERP studies or modern tools and techniques. If you look at these tools or techniques, you will see that uh, they have also they are working, or they are showing that human beings, we are innovative. And Max Planck Institution, Cambridge, University of Reading, MIT, Brain and Cognition Unit, where F. Fedorenko, Nancy Canvisher, Edward Gibson, and a lot of others. Similarly, University of New York, they also have neurolinguistics lab, and a lot of psycholinguistics and neurolinguistics labs. They are working, and that is like something which you can actually prove, you can actually show. It is not something that cannot be seen, and they are using different techniques, different methods and machines, and through those machines they are actually showing that yes, these are the areas which are lit, which are bright, which are active when we are working. And brain imaging in language research, fMRI, like functional magnetic resonance imaging. fMRI is special localization of language areas. And what it measures blood oxygen. It shows where brain activity happens. So in this way, we can identify Broca's and Wernicke's areas activation during sentence comprehension. When we are understanding, fMRI shows that blood oxygenation, or level of oxygen in the blood that increases, which shows that brain activity is happening here. Similarly, ERP, that is event related potential. ERP, it shows the timing of semantic, which is N400, and syntax, that is P400 processing. Like if I'm saying I am teaching psycholinguistics to section 7C at NUML, you will have no problem in understanding it. But if I say that my book is teaching, or my chair is teaching, or I am teaching psycholinguistics to the chairs of 7C class, that will create automatically, you will see that. Or if I say I'm eating biscuits, I say I'm eating laptop, automatically your brain will react and respond to it. So in terms of any anomalous word or irregular or wrong word, N400, it shows that uh, this word is not right. And similarly for sentence, that's called P600. And these are electrical potentials. They show when the brain responds. And N400 detection, it detects brain response to semantic anomalies. I take my coffee with cream and dogs. If I say dogs or cats or chairs, then that will be N400. And the P600 detects syntactic anomalies like grammar errors. PET is called positron emission tomography, and MEG is magnetoencephalography. This is PET and MEG. These are neural activation and neural connectivity. What they measure: PET measures neural metabolism, like brain energy use, and MEG magnetic fields from neural activity. And they help us in understanding large-scale brain network dynamics during language processing. They have strengths. They also have the limitations. The precision is their strength, and their limitations are cost and complexity. They are complex and they are very expensive. You can see Pakistan, we have 25 crore people. We have a lot of universities, and Qaid-e-Azam and Namal, these are one of the top universities, and Qaid-e-Azam's English department is among top 201 to 250 in international ranking. And you can see Qaid-e-Azam in international ranking is usually 350 to 300. Similarly, we have other best universities, but we don't have psycholinguistics lab in any of the universities in these in Pakistan. Similarly, we have no neurolinguistics lab, so we can have one combined lab, but unfortunately we don't have. So when students, they have to, but I think one university has started, two universities, they have started labs. I have not visited their labs, but I have seen online, and their labs look more like psychology labs, not psycholinguistics labs. So, but there are two universities. Factually, I should not be incorrect, and you should not be misguided about it. Two universities have tried, but their labs are more like psychology labs. But we wish them good luck, and they have taken the good initiative, and we appreciate it. One is Aga Khan University, the other one is Foundation University here in Rawalpindi or Islamabad. But overall, they are very expensive, so that's why we don't have these things. But these uh, techniques, these tools, these modern approaches, which are being used at MIT, at Max Planck Institution, now they are showing real time, like language, how children they are language, which brain areas are active. So these things are being documented, these experiments are being conducted, and this is something which is great. So that's why I encourage those students who are studying here that you can do MPhil PhD here in Pakistan. That's good, especially if you want to conduct research on syntax or morphology using qualitative research methods and analyzing speech or recording the speech. We can do that here. But when it comes to real language and the brain, then I encourage you to go there, apply there, don't feel intimidated, and at least try it, because there you will have all these facilities and you'll be able to. Now let's come to the third point of today's lecture, that is language acquisition and development. So in first part, I shared some of the facts. In second part, I talked about some of the methods briefly. These methods are not part of your course outline given by HEC or universities, but I have just mentioned them so that you should know what is going on here and what is going on in other parts of the world or developed world, why research is coming from them, because they are actually doing it. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah, this is a very interesting case. If you look at different researchers, this link or look, as I've already told you, that where is this language? What is the link? That was not established, or we were unable to tell where it is happening. And scientists or psycholinguists or psychologists, they said that some 80,000 years ago there was some genetic mutation, and this is how they got this language ability, and then it was transferred to the next. So we did not have any evidence that there is any gene or there is anything like a concrete link to it, a definitive link to it, something substantial. Ke family, that was something which was like initially it was declared as the language gene. So this Ke family is a British family basically, and they were renowned, they were famous for this hereditary severe speech and language disorder, and it was caused by a mutation in the FOXP2 gene. FOXP2 gene. Half of the family members, over three generations, they had the same disorder, and this involves developmental verbal dyspraxia and difficulties with uh, facial movements as well, like moving lips, tongue, and complex grammar. And if you want, I can share a video with you on your in your WhatsApp group, and you can watch it. So overall, about K2 family, I can say that this they were discovered. This study was conducted, or it was discovered in 1990s at the UCL, and UCL has Institute of Child Health. As I've already told you, that Western universities, they have proper centers, labs, and centers. So UCL in 1990s, and this was the first identified human speech language disorder with this Mendelian inheritance. And the gene in 1998, researchers linked the disorder to a missense mutation in the FOXP2 gene, and brain impact was it affected members. They show, and it showed reduced activity and structural differences in their striatum, or a part of basal ganglia, And the core issues, they were disorder, not just in grammar, but profound difficulty in coordinating muscles required for speech. So basically, you can call it motor. They were linked to motor or movement skills, and but it had a deep impact on science. And this FOXP2 gene, this study helped the role of in brain development and motor skills, particularly in vocal learning. Now, in there is a website. You can go to that website, the Science Direct. Science Direct. That is a website. On that website, they have given a heading KE family. KE family. If I can find it, I can share with you right now. Let me check. Uh, yes, Science Direct. If you go there, there is a complete detail, and those students who may be interested in it, they can read that fully. They have given all the details and about FOXP2 gene, their connection to language as well, speech and language, that has been given. So it is a very interesting case. I have found that K family on Science Direct, and I'm sharing that link with you in your WhatsApp group. Plus, I'm trying to find a video. Once I watch that video, that was very interesting. And if I find that, I will also share that video with you, and you can watch it after the class. Yes, I think article is this one. Your section is C. C. Yeah. Both these things have been shared. Thank you very much for your question. Great question. Yeah. Okay. Now let's come back. Thank you very much for the question. Show strong reaction for Mr. Who was that person who asked question? Show the clapping and likes for him. So this question of language, it was highlighted by Noam Chomsky through LAD, language acquisition device, universal grammar, critical period hypothesis, and child development stages. These things, they support this notion or this idea that language is a gift of biology, but role of culture or usage, that is also important, as we see Michael Tomasello's research, who did his research by observing his own children, and his book Constructing Grammar. Plus, he has also lectures on YouTube. That is also something that needs to be discussed and read and seen. So basically, what Noam Chomsky said, Noam Chomsky has been writing since 1950s. His professor was Zelling Harris, who was one of the top professors at MIT. Actually, he had this idea of generative grammar, and Noam Chomsky was his student, and he studied under him or with him. So Noam Chomsky took that idea and he expanded it and developed into a full-fledged theory, or you can call it hypothesis. And he started with his critique of behaviorism. That critique of behaviorism is available on YouTube, on Google as well, on different websites. And I have also published a short Medium post on Chomsky's critique. I have not taken the whole essay. I've not added the whole essay. I've just taken some points because blog posts are, shorter. So you can read that. He uh, said that in 1965, this is called cognitive revolution, basically. He revolutionized this field of linguistics with this claim that children are not passive learners, but they come pre-equipped, pre-wired. Language is innate ability, and he said that there is a language acquisition device. Now, what is LAD? That is a black box in human brain that enables rapid extraction of rules from linguistic output. The key argument is basically, it is based on key argument that was mentioned by Descartes. It was also, we find it in Plato's poverty of the stimulus argument is Plato's problem. In Plato's problem, we find it. So Noam Chomsky, he based his idea on poverty of stimulus, that children acquire complex grammar despite incomplete, ungrammatical, and noisy input. And Pakistan can be the right place for conducting research because in Sindh and Punjab, especially in Islamabad, we see that children, they usually study English in Beacon House or in other private schools, Supernova, all these schools, children, they learn English by when they are like in class 2 or 3. I've seen them as a teacher. I have been to the classroom, so I've seen that. And but I also know something interesting, and that is these some of these children I know them personally. They are from Balochistan, from Sindh, from Punjab, from Faistabad, these areas, Gilgit, Kashmir. So these children in all urban centers in Pakistan, Lahore, Islamabad, Karachi, Peshawar, you will see that these children they use different languages and they are developing simultaneously. And when we started this lecture, one of your class fellows he also posed this question that the figures and the facts that you are sharing with us, are they about one language or are they about all languages, or are they about monolingual speakers or bilingual speakers or multilingual speakers? So this one this research can be conducted in Pakistan, where we can see how when these children they are learning all of these languages, uh, bilingual children, trilingual children, whether these this let's suppose trilingual learning environment showcases their adaptability to LAD beyond monolingual Western context, or it is something more. So basically, LAD was not found. It was something that was never discovered in the brain, but the concept was supported by modern research. So, universal grammar concept, that is a set of innate grammatical principles shared by all languages. So, LAD device was not found, but prints of universal grammar are everywhere. And universal grammar, it says that there are innate grammatical principles shared by all languages, and UG, universal grammar, provides that scaffolding. Exposure to specific language tunes the system to local rules. And you will also see that universal grammar is supported by the fact that if a child is born in Pakistan and you take him to China or Japan or America, he will learn Japanese or Chinese or English. And there are 2 points I would like to mention here. As LAD was not found, but evidence definitely was there that language and brain they are connected. Similarly, universal grammar has also been challenged. Why? Because point number one, according to Edward Gibson, 80% of research is coming from English-speaking countries, and that research is Anglo-centric. F. Fedorenko and all other researchers who are doing this research, they are doing it in English. They're participants in English, and research has not been conducted in more than 6,000 languages, because total 7,000, and out of which we have conducted research on less than 1,000 or fewer than 1,000 languages. So that is why we cannot say that whatever we are talking about UG, that is final. And second point which I want to mention is that is the uh, discussion between this all languages. Are we just trying to say that because we want our culture to be mentioned or included in it? Maybe. But is there any evidence? Yes, there is evidence. How? Because if you look at languages, English language is different. While if you're Chinese language, that is isolating, that is different. If you look at languages in different parts of the world, they are different. Some languages, they have subject, verb, and object. Some languages have subject, verb, object. Some languages have verb, like they start with a verb. Some languages are one word equal to whole sentence, like subject, verb, and object, they are encoded in a single sentence. Similarly, in some areas, linguistic diversity is very low, but in other areas like Papua New Guinea, where on average one person can speak five, six, or even up to 15 languages. So that is why, and yes, and last point is Daniel Everett, he did research on Piraha. Edward Gibson also did research on Piraha, and his videos are available. Their videos are available on YouTube. You can watch them. Uh, Piraha language has no recursion. So when this finding was published, and the world came to know about it, Steven Pinker, who is Canadian psychologist, but he teaches at Harvard, he's one of the professors whose books, Language Instinct, is one of the most famous, and his lectures and interviews on YouTube are also famous. I also watch him. He said that when Piraha language, Daniel Everett did this research and he came to know that there is no recursion in Piraha language. He said that this is a bombshell on universal grammar. Why? Because it challenges it, it disproves it. So, why I shared this, our main focus is universal grammar. It has solid ground, but it is not final. There are certain things that need to be explored so that we refine the idea and we contribute to the knowledge. And we have 68 languages in Pakistan. Similarly, in India, there are a lot of languages. And if new research can help us in breaking new grounds, in reaching new conclusions. So uh, similarly, you can also we can refer to Creole studies. When children grow up in pidgin speaking environment, they create full-fledged grammar. Like if you are sitting, you are living on a seaport, you are speaking one language. But if your parents, if you are a child, you are born there, when you will grow up, pidgin and Creole. Pidgin will not have proper grammatical structures, but Creole does develop that. Haitian Creole and other Creoles, they are very famous examples. So it means that children are developing that grammar. As sign language in Nicaragua, sign language example I gave, they developed. If you want to study more about Creole research, MIT professor Michel de Graaf, he is my teacher, and I had the honor of attending his classes online on during COVID-19. I requested him, and he graciously allowed me. And he's also my friend on LinkedIn, and I think on Facebook as well. So he's a very kind person, and he has done a lot of research on uh, Creole, Haitian Creole, and he also talks about linguistic rights as well and human rights as well. So you can read his research. Then SLI, sign language impairment studies, they also show disruptions in grammar processing, and that is so. In this way, we can say that these things, they can help us in understanding, and they can also show us, they can guide us in conducting future research. Next idea, that language in the mind, that is crucial, it's critical period hypothesis. And this idea states that there exists a biological determined window, often up to puberty, during which language acquisition is most effective. And evidence is Janie's case. I have already given this example. You can study more about it in Curtis 1977 study. uh, Jeannie's case is like deprived of all language until adolescence. So Jeannie never fully acquired syntax, but she learned morphology. And if Jeannie is alive today, she would be somewhere in her 60s in some old home or care home. And our prayers go to her, because she suffered first at the hands of her parents and then at the hands of scholars who wanted to use her as a material to publish their research. And why I'm saying that, because I'm telling you, if you come across anybody, do publish research, but treat that person like a human, and don't mistreat those people. So language acquisition studies, they also learners are exposed before puberty. Typically, they develop native like proficiency. And you will see the examples of Henry Kissinger, who could not develop language, who couldn't speak like native speakers. But if you look at New York Mayor Zohran Mamdani, uh, he speaks like native speakers. Similarly, you can take the example of Pakistani families who go to England or America or France or China. Their children develop that language like Chinese or English or French, and they speak like native speakers. But their parents, they cannot. Why? Because they have passed that critical period hypothesis, that window. And empirical methods like ERP markers, N400 for semantics, P600 for syntax, they also show reduced plasticity in old learners. Like if you are checking these language speech processing and you're using ERP, you will see that if I am speaking, my response time will be slower, my plasticity will be slower, but young children, they will be just like native speakers. So neuroimaging reveals decreasing left hemisphere specialization with age. But there is one example I have already told you in my class, that Steve Kaufman, he is a retired bureaucrat, and he makes videos on English language, I think with the help of his children, I'm not sure. But he is a very good person and a good professor or teacher now. And he says that he has learned more than like around 15 to 20 languages. And he says that he learned these languages after 60. So there are some cases where we can find. So what I can say is that millions of children, they are in Pakistan. This research can be conducted, and we have many examples of people who learn language like native speakers if they learn it earlier. But if they try to learn it at older age, at Namal, our university, we see a lot of people who come here and they study. They take time in speaking. They are, but if you go to private schools, you will see small children, they are learning with more comfort and ease. There may be affective filter, there may be hesitation, but still, this is. But I want to share two more things here. One is, yes, in speaking, in accent, in pronunciation. We old people, we cannot learn like young children spontaneously, naturally, and like native speakers. But in writing and semantics and understanding, we are quite good at it. We are quite good at it. So this critical period hypothesis is exactly true when it comes to speaking or sounds or pronunciation. But when it comes to semantics and syntax, we can write. I've seen so many people who can write very good English, but when it comes to speaking, they cannot. You can also see professors who are teaching. Yeah, Heart of Darkness, the novel. This example was given by one of your students. So please show reaction to him. And in the meanwhile, I will answer that question. Heart of Darkness writer Joseph Conrad, he wrote that novel, and the setting of that novel is in Africa, where Europeans or Western imperialism they are exploiting that region. But Joseph Conrad was Polish, and we see that he was a very good writer. So that's a very good example which supports this idea that yes, uh, critical period hypothesis is important, but we see Heart of Darkness, Joseph Conrad. Similarly, you can see Pakistani and Indian writers like Arundhati Rai, Hanif Saab, similarly Kamla Shamsi, and Babsi Sidhwa, and there are many other. Yeah, Shashi Tharoor's grammar vocabulary. He is very good at vocabulary. Even native speakers cannot match his level of vocabulary. Yeah, you're right. So you will find many examples where people they have developed language skills. As our student, one of our students, he gave the example of the Heart of Darkness by Joseph Conrad, who was Polish. English was not his native language, but he wrote a novel that is world famous, and in most of the universities in the world this novel is taught at MA level or at BS English level, and it is one of the finest pieces of work. Similarly, there are many people from uh, other parts of the world who also wrote in English, and there are also English poets as well. And you can also find some of my English poetry. When I was young, I wrote some of my poems in English, and you will find some of my short poems in English when we were young or when I was a young teacher. So there are many in Pakistan. There are many young boys and girls. Fatima Bhutto, she is. I think she was a poet. She wrote poetry and she teaches at Columbia University, and she is also one of the. So, sir, thank you very much for giving that timely example. And next thing that supports this idea of language and mind is language, child language development stages. There is pre-linguistic stage from 0 to 12 months, where a baby starts cooing, babbling, and syllables, and then one word stage that is from 12 to 18 months. That is holophrastic utterances like milk means he says, I want milk. Two-word stage is from 18 to 24 months. That is telegraphic speech, daddy go. Similarly, early multi-word stage is from 24 to 36 months, where syntax emerges and rapidly vocabulary growth. And later stage is 3 to 6 years, where complex morphology, questions, narratives, they start developing. And these are universal findings that stages are biologically driven and cross-cultural, occurring regardless of language. So these things they support the view that language and mind they are linked. So they make this they strengthen psycholinguistics. And you will see phonological developments. Babbling universally, infants produce sounds from all languages, later narrowing to their native phoneme inventory only by 10 to 12 months. Perception is high amplitude sucking experiments. Amos et al. They did that in 1971. They show infants can discriminate phonetic contrasts more not present in their mother tongue as well. So by year one, the perception narrowing occurs. Then they start taking only the sounds of their mother tongue, from their mother tongue. So again, this research can be conducted in Pakistan because we have a lot of languages. So does LAD explain all of language acquisition, or do general cognitive mechanisms also play a role? Is UG falsifiable, as we saw in Daniel Everett's research on Piraha language? that in Piraha language there is no recursion. In Piraha language there is no aspect. Like tenses are there, but there is no aspect. Like I'm eating, I have eaten. This present continuous and present perfect aspect, these things are missing. Similarly, there is no counting like one, two, and more, and they don't have like one, two, three, four, five, six, seven. They don't have this counting. Similarly, you will find other. So how flexible is critical period? We have seen these examples, and we have also mentioned the examples of famous writers like Joseph Conrad, the writer of Heart of Darkness. You can study these things. You can also write an essay and publish it on Medium. As I always encourage you, that be the contributor of knowledge, don't be just the consumer of knowledge. You can write an essay, for example, does evidence from bilingual acquisition in Pakistan support or challenge the universality of Chomsky's LAD? You can also conduct experiments on critical period hypothesis in English and Urdu bilinguals. You can include hypotheses, participants' methods, ERP study of late or early bilinguals. Similarly, you can have a debate in class when we have in-person class, because right now we have online class, that universal grammar is an outdated theory in the era of connectionist and usage-based models. So different teams, you can give your opinions, and then you can support your opinions. So as Pakistani students, I believe that you are one of the finest and best students, brilliant. And some of the students in your class, they ask questions, which is a positive sign that Pakistani students are critical thinkers, and that's very encouraging for the whole class. And your class is I mean, lucky that you have some thinking brains as well. So you can, as Pakistani students, you should not be just, you should not only understand how children acquire language, but you should also recognize your own classrooms as an option, as a reservoir, as laboratories where you can conduct research, and you can contribute, you can challenge different theories that have shaped the discourse and studies and academia. So this is how, with your efforts, Pakistan can enter the map of global innovation in psycholinguistics. Best wishes to you. Thank you very much. And see you in the next class in person. And I am lucky that I have class like students like yourself. And it's a true honor for me. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, you can ask. If you are tired, you can take rest and take tea. And see you in the next class. Allah Hafiz. Thank you. Thank you.